Hey everybody, I realized that I once made a video several months ago, I think it was in the winter, about your astrocartography, which is basically your astrological chart, but in a map version. And I, at the time, had made this video talking about your Pluto, which is your death and rebirth, your Venus line being like most likely where you meet your twin flame, the love of your life, or whatever. But at the time, I didn't know certain other placements, and I learned from Spiritual Bossy on Instagram, and so I want to give her the credit where it's due. I wanted to share some more things that I found really interesting about this. I want to show you how you guys can find this because I posted on my story about this today, and people are asking like how I got to this. So I'm going to give you guys like a little breakdown. It's going to be a while, most likely, but here it goes. Okay, so you guys are going to type in astrocartography in your search engine, and the first one for me is astroseek.com. So I go there, and then I type in the birth time, the date of birth, everything. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then once it's done, I will show you the rest. Oop, not August, July. After you hit calculate your chart, this is essentially what it'll look like. It'll look like a bunch of lines, but all of these lines have significance to you because it can be so confusing. I'm gonna go ahead and show you one by one, at least like the more popular planets. So according to Spiritual Bossy, what she says is you should not be living in your Saturn line. Your Saturn line is where you will be stuck. It is where you will not grow. Obviously, you have to learn from that Saturn line, but you most likely will not have like much love. And if you move away from that Saturn line, most likely your life will change for the better. And after I read that, after I saw that in a post of hers, I looked at my chart today and I was mind blown because that is exactly what happened. So I'm going to show you. You go here where it says all planets and you go to your Saturn line, okay? Oh, sorry. And then you hit okay. So this is such a trip to me because my Saturn line is actually very close to my Venus line, and I'll show you that one in a minute. And so this is what it'll look like, okay? So your Saturn line, basically, I should not be living anywhere near these areas, basically, okay? And what is such a trip, or here, and what is such a trip is this right here is so close to like San Jose, which is where I grew up. And I freaking hated living there with a passion. You guys don't understand. I never felt right there. And so it makes sense that your Saturn line, like it makes you feel stuck. That is genuinely how I freaking felt, okay? So I'm gonna show you the Venus line to show you how similar it is. So you go here and then you hit Venus, Mercury. I wonder what that one is. And then you hit, okay. So my Venus is actually in the same, like very, very similar area. And Venus is like where you like most likely will meet the love of your life, your twin flame, something of the sort. This is literally where I met my twin flame, in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean in the Azores Islands. However, my Venus line also goes here. So I could move anywhere in this area and I should be okay. I should be okay, but it's weird because it's also very similar to the Saturn line. Like it's very, very close, right? So I'm like, okay, well, if I can't go there because Saturn hits it, let's see where it goes for the sun line. So my sun line is here, and I've always loved the Mediterranean. Always, like I've always wanted to go like to Greece, Italy. Like I've always wanted to live there. And then it's also here. I would not move here and I would not move here. So I know that it would have to be somewhere in this area. So anywhere from like Sweden to Italy or, Greece. It could be like near. But what is interesting is that my Neptune line is very close to where I live. And my Neptune line is where I grew spiritually and where I formed my business. So it actually makes sense that it's here because this is where it all started. So although it's not clearly on the country of where I live, but it's very, very close. So yeah, I just thought that was really interesting. And then, so as I had stated in that other video, your Pluto line is your death and rebirth, most likely where you had a dark night of the soul. And what is really fascinating to me is it literally hits right over where my dark night of the soul started in 2022. I was in the East Coast. I had a layover in Washington, D.C., and I was a hot mess. Like that's where it started. That is literally where it started. My dark night of the soul. Yeah, I find that very fascinating. And then this is the Jupiter line. The Jupiter line is one of the best places to live because this is where you grow and expand. So you can live anywhere here. So that's the Jupiter sign. Anywhere here. I would not live in any of these countries. However, boom, it hits here. And this is literally my dream place is Hawaii. My dream place to live is Hawaii. So yeah, I just find it fascinating because your heart will always lead you where you're meant to go. So if you have the pull to go to a certain country, like I said, I've always wanted to be in the Mediterranean. That's where my sun line was. So it would make sense that it would be there. And then my Jupiter line was here, is close to Hawaii. So just some food for thought. So let me know in the comments below if this all tracks. Does your Saturn line go over a place that you're just not comfortable in, where you've had so many troubles, so many complications, where you felt stuck? Your Venus line, does it hit where you possibly met the love of your life or your twin flame or something of the sort? Your sun line. I just find all of the astrology stuff really, really fun, and it resonates a lot. So let me know if it resonates for you too. Bye.